Hey everybody, just before I wrap up for the day, I wanted to hop on real quick and talk about the energy of this lunar eclipse that's happening in the wee hours of tomorrow morning, and some mystic crystal work that you can do at this time to help really move you forward and to help you really deeply transform on a spiritual and soul level, because that's very much what is coming through to me anyway, through the ethers, through my guidance, through the stones, about the energy of this lunar eclipse. This is really the energy of a new beginning, but not sort of that fresh start, fresh cycle kind of new beginning that we oftentimes associate with a new moon. This is more the ending that creates the new beginning, the ending or the death that then moves us through the cycle into rebirth, into renewal. So this is going to be an experience for a lot of us that is very deeply transformative in terms of finally being able to pattern out and let go of old stories, of old blocks, of old wounds that have been holding us back for a long time, that we're really, really ready to let go of, because we're coming into our next level of transcendence. We're coming into our next level of our evolutionary experience and process. This is very much about sort of creating space and freedom and activation for a new level of beingness and a new experience. And that, sounds pretty radical, but sometimes these experiences can be that way. And for some people, it's going to be more challenging than others. And I'm just going to be, kind of straight up about that. If you've been really resisting, listening to your spirit, listening to your truth, following your guidance, this could be a bit of cosmic, a can of cosmic whoop ass that's going to open for you, kind of that cosmic kick in the ass that many of us on the path experience, let's say during their Saturn return, for instance, as an example. It's going to be that kind of awakening to that which we really need to let go or change or shift so that we can course correct and get back on path, or so that we can really grow and move past that which has been an obstacle or a block or challenging us for a long time. So it's like when you look back on, let's say, a challenging time, or a time of difficulty, or a time in your life where maybe you didn't get what you wanted, or what, etc. And at the time, it's challenging, it's difficult, it's maybe even painful. But then you look back on it in later years and you're grateful for whatever happened, because that's what then allowed you to change or heal or see what you needed to see, so that you could move forward and be in a much more positive, empowered, happy, and healthy place. Now, for some who have been really honoring their authenticity, who have been doing their work, have been doing their shadow work, have been processing, have been really listening to spirit or to their souls, and trusting in the process, trusting in their path, this may be more of an activation. This may be more of, what we kind of, I guess, generally refer to as an awakening, or veils being shifted or cleared, of illusion. And so this is going to be a very powerful and deep time of mastery, of reclaiming your sovereignty, reclaiming your power, deepening into your spiritual majesty. So this is a really, really great opportunity, no matter what, to be honest with yourself, to face yourself, to face any darkness or shadow that may come up for you. And even if that triggers, feelings of nervousness or fear, know that on the other side of shadow work, there's transcendence, there is liberty, there is reclaiming of health and true self, and wellness. And so again, these are just opportunities that you can claim or not claim. I mean, you could sleep through it tomorrow, you could go through your day and nothing has changed. But for a lot of us who are walking the path now, this is an opportunity. So some of the stones that have been really calling to me to be shared with you in terms of working with them during this time, during this phase, in meditation. You may choose to sleep with them depending on what time zone you are are and, you know, where you experience this energy tomorrow. But they're the dark stones, the black stones, like obsidian and different forms of obsidian. This is a rainbow obsidian egg, which is actually extremely symbolic and pertinent in its energy for this eclipse phase and full moon phase that we're moving into tomorrow. Snowflake obsidian is another great one to consider working with. Also black tourmaline, another one that brings us into that space of alignment and kind of neutralizes a doubt, fear, places of negativity, so we can really be honest with ourselves. We can really be authentic. But trust which crystal draws to you. There are some badasses I know out there who are going to be like, okay, I'm hanging on to the Covalite and I'm going full on, or the Numite maybe. You can pair this with a crystal of light and courage as you're doing this work. Again, in places of you know, in meditation is what comes through primarily, but also sleep. Really pay attention to your dreams tonight. And in the next couple of weeks, you may already have been having lucid dream experiences in the past couple of weeks, or really vivid dreams where you're seeing things that you feel like, you know, they're darker, and you feel like maybe you should be having a fear response, but you're not. And again, we're just moving into the sacred darkness. You know, there's what we may term as evil darkness or bad darkness, but there's also the sacred darkness, which is the womb, which is the void, which is the place from which all things spring and manifest. But you can work with, pair with crystals for courage. So I have a spirit quartz here, but maybe you want to, you choose to work with aquamarine or red jasper. Maybe you choose to work with starlight or another courage crystal or light crystal or love crystal that springs to your attention. Really trust your intuition. The stones speak to us. They have their own levels of consciousness. They have their own frequencies. And when you're willing to open to that, and trust that, and really trust yourself, they engage with you very powerfully and very beautifully. So those are some of the tips for tomorrow. One last thing that I would say is I'm not suggesting to people or encouraging that you put your crystals out for charging under the moonlight just for tonight. A full moonlight can be very nourishing and very recharging to crystals. It can also help them clear anything that they've taken on through negative forms of transference. I put some of my selenite, my satin spar selenite, I put some of that out last night to get some full moon light, and I'll be putting some more out tomorrow night. But for tonight, I'm not putting my crystals out simply because I don't want them to be charged with this eclipse energy. So unless you specifically have stones like quartz, for example, that you want to charge with this eclipse energy, that maybe you want to work with it at a later time, because that quartz will charge that, will hold that charge for quite a while until it's cleared. But even then, crystals have memory and they record everything in their own sort of etheric memory matrix, if you will. It's a way for me to try and articulate what I see energetically, but sometimes struggle with the words. So unless you specifically want to charge crystals with the eclipse energy, you know, tonight through the wee hours of the morning, don't put them out tonight, put them out tomorrow night. And again, know too that you don't have to put all your crystals out under full moonlight every month. For those of you who may have a lot of crystals in your keeping or you're in your apothecary, that can be a lot, right? I only ever put out my satin spar selenites. They're the only ones that I put out under the full moonlight, just to recharge, to become refreshed, because they do a lot of work for me on a daily basis in many ways, in crystal therapy and other things, but I also work with them to clear and recharge my other crystals. So that might be easier for you if you follow similar practices. So those are my tips for tonight. Have a blessed and beautiful and magical mystical night. Claim your sovereignty. Trust in how divine and beautiful and luminous you are as a radiant being as a soul, and know that the more that you embrace something without tension, but with wisdom, with sovereignty, with authority, the more that you can work with that energy for your benefit from a place of empowerment. And for those of you who are really interested in my work, who maybe would like to learn more, would like to train with me, my Pro Crystal Healer program, crystal therapy program, is opening this weekend for enrollment. So you can click the link in my bio or the link in my description and check that out, because I would love for you to join my community and for us to share and grow together on this path. So thank you for taking the time to watch. Again, have a blessed and beautiful night, and I'll be back to share with you soon.